Listen, I already know if you're watching this video, you're trying to learn a language and you want to do it quickly. I think that's the same mindset that pretty much all of us have. So in this video, I'm going to go through if it's possible to learn a language in 3 months, because I had the same mindset when I started learning French last year, and I set myself the challenge, I'm going to get fluent in 90 days. So I know you've all seen those videos when we're up at 3 a.m, got the random burst of motivation. So I documented my progress, everything. I'm going to show you guys side by side progress from day 1 to day 90. And now it's been like 11 months that I've been learning. So I'll show you that as well. But yeah, I went all in. I tried to learn as quickly as I could, even up to day 30, tried to get as much as I could. Then day 90, obviously, which I'm going to show you guys. So is it actually possible? Did I manage to do it? Did I get fluent? I guess we'll find out. So with that out of the way, today we are going to be going through the common myth, what I did every day, the results and the honest truth about this claim of fluency in 3 months, and the advice for you guys who maybe do have this as a goal. So fluency in 3 months is literally everywhere online. You see on titles of YouTube videos, articles, whatever it is. I don't know why specifically 3 months, but everybody seems to aim for that. But firstly, we actually need to decide, what does fluent even mean? For me, I'd put this around the B1, B2 level, closer to B2, where you can really start to express yourself independently without a huge amount of thought, and just really start to get by in the language. So a conversational level, I would say. And I think the reason why a lot of people fail is because they set really unrealistic goals, like reaching C1, C2, which is basically native level if you're unfamiliar with those kind of letters. A lot of people don't do enough input, or they just don't even have enough structure. But luckily, I'd already studied Japanese and Spanish in the past, so a lot of these weren't a huge issue. Kind of knew what I was getting into, but still, 3 months was a huge challenge for me. And so when I learned Japanese the first time, I didn't know what was going on. I think it would have been so useful to have somebody who was there, like me now, in the future, who knows how things work. And that's exactly what I provide in my community. So if you join, the links in the description or in my bio, I can just help you out with all the little questions, things like that. We'll make a custom plan for you. Everything that you need will be there to support you in order to learn a language as quickly as possible, so you can get fluent in a much shorter amount of time, much more accelerated than most people, which is what I've been able to achieve with French this time, which you'll see, and the languages that I'm now learning in the future, because I recorded this video quite a while ago. But yeah, back to the video. Especially considering it took me like 2-3 years to get to a conversational level in Japanese. Now, I actually had another goal in mind, considering I wanted to take French in my new school, never having studied it before, apart from like primary school where I learned and remembered nothing. And that goal was to reach about A2 B1 level in just 1 month. Or for those of you familiar with the UK school system, about grade 7 GCSE. Now, in order to do this, I would need to get like hundreds of hours of study in within just 1 month. So that meant studying hours a day. And that's basically what I did. You know, I went all in. I was obsessed with it. I was studying every day for that first month, around 5 hours a day. And I truly believed that I could get fluent in 3 months, especially considering how much work I was doing. But going from zero and being self-taught, there was a decent amount of doubt still in my mind. But either way, I think the fact that I had a deadline did help me, you know, taking it in steps. So I've got the goal of just reaching like a basic level in 1 month, and then in 3 months being at a very substantial level where I am fluent. And I was really motivated at the start, you know, like studying 5 hours a day is something that I don't even do now. Studying French, I'm on about like an hour a day roughly, sometimes not even that. And I was on summer break, so I had loads and loads of time to do it. And honestly, I had no idea whether I was going to be able to do it. I just knew that I really wanted to give it a go. Even if I didn't make it and I wasn't able to take it in school within 1 month, I would keep going anyways, just because at that point, you know, I've done so much work, I'm putting so many hours a day, you know, why would I just stop? And I think actually that's a really important part of the mentality that you have to have regardless of what your goals are. Say you want to get to say you want to get fluent in 6 months, for example, but you don't know if you're going to be able to do it. You don't know how you should go about it. You got so many questions, so many doubts in your mind. It doesn't matter. Just get started, and I promise you, you won't regret it. Even if you don't manage to get fluent in 6 months, who cares? You're still going to have a really good level after those 6 months. It's so worth it regardless. So anyways, back to the video. I'm going to put up the exact routine for those of you guys who want to copy it or go through exactly what I did. And just so you guys have a reference to see what I did, you know, to get the results that I did. I've got a whole video on this that goes into it in detail, and of course my community, which you'll find in the description below, where I go into this kind of stuff in detail. But essentially the main parts are immersion, Anki and grammar videos, and of course an audio course, which is very, very important for me at the start in order to get my basics. And then there's loads of other resources that I supplemented here and there to really optimize my progress, you know, just make sure that I was going as quick as I can. I use like all the stuff that I learned when I was learning Japanese, you know, just to literally just go as quick as I can. Like I was literally putting everything that I knew on how to learn a language quickly. And then after about 1 month of studying, working really, really hard, like literally this is the hardest that I've ever worked when it comes to learning a language, I managed to get to the level that I needed to take it into school. And I was so shocked, but so happy at the same time when they told me, we're gonna let you do it, you're gonna be able to study French in this school. And it was such an amazing feeling being able to get to that B1 level. However, at the same time, I still knew in the back of my head, I'm not fluent yet. My French isn't where I want it to be, and I've still got a long way to go. This is the level that I was at.
Aujourd'hui, j'ai décidé vous parler sur de mon journée. Quoi?
So as you can see, I've still got a long way to go, although it was much better than before. I was able to express myself a little bit. You know, my accent was okay. I put quite a lot of emphasis on pronunciation, but still, you know, I'd stutter quite a lot. I still make lots of mistakes in grammar and things like that. So definitely not there. I kept working hard. Doing French in school now definitely helped me in terms of grammar. Other than that, I kept studying about 1 to 3 hours per day outside of school, which 100% gave me the most amount of benefits. Pretty much the same routine as before, minus the audio course, but that helped me a huge amount. And then finally, after lots and lots of hard work, we get up to month 3. And now up until here, I'd been recording my progress really, really well. I'd been just recording myself on camera about weekly, and I do have a time lapse on my channel if you do want to go check that out. And here's what I sounded like.
Aujourd'hui, la vidéo va être un peu plus court parce que bah oui, je dois aller. J'ai un parti de football, donc bah oui, je vais aller après cette vidéo. Donc bah ouais. La français, c'est une langue qui est parlée par tout le monde. Il y a plein de gens qui parlent français.
So I don't know if you guys can tell, but that is a huge improvement from before, and I was super happy. Honestly, I thought I was at like the pinnacle of French. Looking back at it now, there's still quite a lot of mistakes there, and although I can express myself quite well, I don't really go into any particularly difficult topics, and it's pretty surface level. But the big question is, was I fluent? Personally, I would say it's right on the borderline. I would say somewhere around the B1 level. I definitely speak it a lot better now. And honestly, the definition of fluency, although we discussed at the beginning, is still somewhat ambiguous. I would say I was conversationally fluent. I'm not sure, but all I knew is that I was not where I wanted to be. I wasn't really able to have lots of conversations in French. I would still kind of struggle to speak with natives. A lot of time I wouldn't understand what they're saying, despite maybe being able to formulate my own responses. So in terms of actually having a conversation, it was quite difficult. So maybe in that sense, I wasn't really conversational. However, when it came to watching videos or podcasts and things like that, my understanding of the language was really good, but I was still really struggling in a lot of areas. However, if you said to me in 3 months, you know, this is the level that you got in French, you're staying there forever, I would be more than happy, because I think, say I'd gone to France, I think that I would be able to make friends, I'd be able to maybe make jokes. You know, I was kind of at a level where I'm just starting to really be able to, you know, take the language as my own and be able to use it for myself, you know. So was I at a good level? Yes. Was I fluent? No. But within 3 months, I think that I reached a very good level, and I was making progress like crazy, so there was no signs of me stopping, and obviously I continued. Now, did I change anything after 3 months? Honestly, not really. My method was working so well. I was making really good progress, you know, I was enjoying it. And so I just continued doing what I was doing. I put a little bit less pressure on the grammar, a little bit less pressure on the speaking, and I just focused on consuming lots and lots of the language, and just listening to loads and loads of French. And then finally, we get up to now, after 11 months of learning, and I speak the language so much better. Again, I'm still not perfect, but now I am absolutely fluent, and here's what I sound like.
Bon, salut les gars, ça va ou quoi? Je suis sur mon nouveau ordinateur. Ça fait trop plaisir. Je sais pas si vous pouvez voir. Mais voilà, en fait les gars, je suis trop content de mon niveau parce que je pense que je suis enfin au niveau où je peux vraiment m'exprimer comme je veux, genre.
Évidemment, je peux encore améliorer mon niveau et mon français. Mais en vrai de vrai, les gars, je pense que déjà, je suis au niveau où je peux parler couramment. I can easily have conversations with French people. It's so fun. I love the pronunciation and everything. Honestly, it's just been an amazing journey. I'm thinking of actually posting a time lapse because again, I've been recording my progress around weekly. You know, so I'm gonna do about like a 1 year, 12-month progress video. If you guys are interested in that, just let me know down in the comments. So in conclusion, after 1 month, I reached like a basic level, you know, that's the kind of like minimum level, you know, to really just about get by in French. After 3 months, I was not able to really get fluent. I wasn't able to express all kinds of ideas. I wouldn't have really been comfortable in any situation. I struggled to kind of have conversations with natives, although I was able to do it if they were a little bit considerate, you know, and slowed down their speech. However, I would say after about 5 months, 6 months is when I really started to get conversational and really kind of become fluent. I actually got B2 in one of my tests in school, so I got A star in A level, which is equivalent to B2 in French, which shows officially that I was at, you know, a fluent level. And then now after 11 months, I don't really know what level I'm at because, you know, at school, A star is the highest level I can get to. So it doesn't really tell me if I'm above B2 or how far above B2 I am. I would probably put myself around the C1 level, somewhere around that. Again, I don't have any actual way to verify this, and I don't plan on really taking any of the tests because, you know, it's just not necessary for me. My goal is just to be able to converse in the language easily, talk to people, understand people, and be able to consume content. Just enjoy it, you know, enjoy the language. So the tests aren't really something that are important to me, but after 11 months, I would say I'm somewhere around the C1 level and I am definitely fluent now. I know you guys have been waiting for it, but here's a side-by-side comparison from month 1 to month 3 to month 6 to month now 11.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Zik. Aujourd'hui, c'est le deuxième jour. Aujourd'hui, j'ai décidé de vous parler sur de mon journée. Quoi? Aujourd'hui, la vidéo va être un peu plus courte parce que oui, j'ai un parti de football, donc oui, je vais aller après cette vidéo. Donc la français, c'est une langue qui est parlée par tout le monde. Il y a plein de gens qui parlent français. Bon, salut les gars, ça va ou quoi? Je suis sur mon nouveau ordinateur. Ça fait trop plaisir. Je sais pas si vous pouvez voir. Mais voilà, en fait les gars, je suis trop content de mon niveau parce que je pense que je suis enfin au niveau où je peux vraiment m'exprimer comme je veux, genre.
Évidemment, je peux encore améliorer mon niveau et mon français. On m'a dit que j'ai toujours un accent en français, genre un accent anglais un petit peu au fond, tu vois. Parler plus vite, c'est très important parce que moi, je pense que je parle plutôt lentement en français et je fais pas exprès, hein, je fais pas exprès. I think my speech is still a little bit slow in some areas. You know, sometimes I'll stutter, sometimes I'll still make silly mistakes, but you know, I'm still learning, I'm gonna keep going, and eventually, you know, hopefully I'll get to that stage where I'm basically as good as a native speaker. So the truth is, guys, regardless of whether you want to get fluent in 3 months, the grind is absolutely worth it. It's so fun, it's such a good journey, you unlock so many new things, regardless of what you want to do. Learn French, learn the language, whatever it is. If you are learning a language that's a little bit more difficult, like Japanese, obviously it's going to be a lot harder to reach the level I reached in French in 3 months. Also, I'd kind of studied Spanish before in school for a while, so the grammar was a little bit more familiar for me, which again sped things up. But overall, like I said in the video already, doesn't matter whether you reach fluency in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. If you put in the hard work every day, regardless, you are going to reach a really good level, so why not? If this helped, I made a video breaking all of this step by step on YouTube for French and for Japanese, so definitely check them out. And if you want more exact guides in detail on how to do each of the methods I mentioned in my routine, then check out the community link down below. By the way guys, I'm planning on doing the same for Portuguese this summer. I don't know if I'm going to put in as much effort as I did for French, but I'll keep you guys updated. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.